Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Benchmark Studios podcast. With me today is Kevin, Coach Kev. Many of you know him by different names. We're going to get into the program that he manages here at Benchmark called the Predisposition program. And we're going to have a great conversation. I can already feel it. So let's jump right into it. Kev, what is your favorite lift in the gym?
Favorite lift? I would have to say the what do you call this machine where you bring it together?
Oh, the pec flies.
Yeah, the pec flies.
Yeah, chest flies.
Yeah, you can adjust the weight, simple, and it gives you those beach muscles. So
yeah,
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, everyone needs a good vanity lift.
Yeah.
I feel like you gotta do it for the beach.
It's a toss up between bench press and that. So
Flies.
Yeah, the flies.
Yeah, I always liked flies. If you can like feel the muscle fibers tearing in a way that you can't in other lifts.
You wake up the next morning and feel it as well. So yeah.
There you go. Yeah. For those of you who don't personally know Kev, underneath this zip up here, he has some large muscles that I'm envious of. You got those over years of lifting yourself, or like do you play sports? Or?
Well, growing up, we did have like some random dumbbells and stuff in the house. So when I was in middle school, I used to venture down to the basement and get my own lift on, whether it be curling.
Yeah.
And then the barber shop I went to had a bench press and all that, and the barber was he was I used to do this little sweep up jobs as a teenager, young teenager.
Yeah.
And he was in the lift, and he had like a little dusty gym in the downstairs, and he would show me a thing or two about lifting as well. So that's kind of when I gravitated to lifting. So, and I am a former athlete way back when. So
way back when,
yeah, played a little football in my day. So
a little football in your day. You say that like you're a 60-year-old man.
Old enough, but yeah.
Old enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't let this go. Your barber lifted weights like in his shop?
Shout out to Champ Hall, local barber. He's actually owns a few barber schools now.
Yeah.
Actually, one's located right here up the street on King and
Prince.
King and Prince, yeah. So he runs that. As a younger kid, I was cleaning up, sweeping up in his shop, getting paid, and like I said, he had a little dusty gym downstairs, so I would venture off and get my lift on. And
that's awesome. I feel like the thing now is to have beer available at your barbershop. Like you gotta like get your beer and whatever. Like I feel like that's the new thing for high-end barbers. But I would much rather go to a place that has a bench press.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, as you can see, I haven't been to the barbershop in quite some time. Since COVID.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I haven't been.
It's 2025 now. Yeah. So was that all growth from
COVID? Well, the prices with the there's prices prior to COVID and prices post-COVID when barbers had to make house visits. So I was paying like $25, including the tip, prior to COVID, to get my hair cut, shaped up or whatever.
Right.
And then COVID hit. I go back to my barber. I'm like, this isn't Champ, by the way. This is another barber, which I'm still cool with. Shout out to Clean Cuts Barbershop. But the prices just was like, wow, it jacked up to like $35, $40, some even $50. So I'm like, let me just scroll my hair, see how this goes, and just took off from there, and then here we are.
So you said you played a little football. You're a coach now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For football?
Yes. So I've been playing football. I've been surrounded by football pretty much all my life. I played for Jackson Middle School, which was formerly known as Han. Played youth football for the Junior Tornadoes. Played for McCaskey. Went on to play at Clarion University as well. And from there, I dove into coaching. I coached youth football for many, many years. I just was awarded the opportunity to be the head coach of the McCaskey's freshman football team / middle school team. So I oversee like the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade team. So we kind of got 2 teams in one. Got a freshman team and then a junior high team, so to speak.
That's so cool. How long have you been in that position?
This would be my second year. We're going into our second year this year, upcoming year. We're about to get started in June with our workouts and want to get the ball rolling from there.
Okay. How are they looking this year, Coach?
Last year we took our bumps. We had a younger team. We kind of we're struggling a little bit with some first-year players. Like I said, it's 7th, 8th, and 9th. So we didn't have a lot of 9th graders or a lot of experienced players. And our opponents, they had a lot of 9th graders. We still finished probably like a game under 500. So with those 8th graders and 7th graders that took their lumps are turning into 8th graders and 9th graders now, with the bulk of them being 9th graders. So I have big expectations this year for our kids. I set the standards high anyway, so hopefully our season turns out to be pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll all be watching, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm on out.
Yeah. I'm pumped.
Maybe we could do another podcast mid-season or after the season.
Yeah. We'll have to
if it goes good. If not,
we'll have to bring the equipment out to a game or something, get some audio.
They love that.
Yeah.
Even, get some of the kids. More than likely, we probably have some kids that attended Open Gym or been through the Benchmark facility or program at some point. So,
no doubt. No doubt. Huh. Speaking of Benchmark, we should probably talk about that at some point.
Yeah, we could dive into that whenever you want.
What was your first connection to Benchmark program?
My first connection, I would have to say a former employee kind of referred me through coaching. They thought I would probably be a decent mentor, so I initially started working as a mentor in the predisposition program. I had one kid. Things went really, really well with this kid. At that point in time, he was considered a high-risk kid. I did pretty well with him. Got another kid, did well with him. I went to our SAT program as well. I was a manager at our SAT program, which is our school alternative program, which is based in McCaskey.
Yeah, suspension-based alternative.
Yeah, suspension. Right. Yeah, my fault. Suspension. And I would like to say I guess flourished or did pretty well in that program as well. So the opportunity presented itself for me to be the manager of our predisposition program as well as our GVPP program, which is gun violence prevention program. And things been pretty smooth ever since.
Okay. So you manage 2 programs for Benchmark at this point? I
do, yes.
Okay. Is that a separate staff, separate clients, students, everything, or are they kind of meshed?
Kind of mesh. They are different in a way. The predisposition program is referred to like the reference. The referrals come from. It could be usually POs. So these kids I hate calling them kids, but young men, even young women now, because we just recently got 2 female young ladies that are enrolled in our predisposition program. So what they allegedly or unfortunately catch a gun charge, they get placed in YIC, and upon their release, they're referred to our program. So we work with them on a one-on-one mentorship basis with them. And as far as the GVPP program, it's not court ordered. Anybody could pretty much refer them. It could be a counselor at school. It could be a teacher at school. It could be an aunt, an uncle of the student. Pretty much, I wouldn't say anybody, but yeah, they could be referred if they see this kid headed down the wrong path. He might have like minor priors or might be hanging with the wrong crowd. And they just think that a one-on-one mentorship would be beneficial for that student. So that's kind of the difference. One is like mandatory through the court system, and one is just the person referring you just thinks you're headed down the wrong path, so to speak.
Okay. And so when you started mentoring initially, I assume that was part-time at Benchmark.
Yes.
Okay. What were you doing for income at the time, and what made you decide, Benchmark is a place that I want to work at full-time?
Well, I was training. I also was working at the Lancaster Rec as well. I was a counselor there, and that's pretty much was it. And that was kind of more like a school-age based. All my life I've been, mentoring or coaching or working with kids, whether it be my nieces, nephews, my younger cousins. I was always looked at as somebody like that can offer advice or guidance, or just I was always like kind of mature for at a younger age. So I always gravitated to working with kids and just I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And what was it about being part of Benchmark that made you want to apply then for full-time work?
Honestly, I liked it. It was just natural. It wasn't even, I didn't even consider it work, to be honest. Well, I didn't consider it me working. It just was more so like a natural thing.
Yeah.
And the kid that I was working with was cool. The next kid I was working was a cool young man. And it was just kids that I can identify with. I could see like similarities to, whether it be myself or people that I grew up with. It just clicked natural. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So just, I guess, to back up, the two programs that you oversee, the predispo, that is a juvenile is charged with a crime and
related to a firearm.
Okay. So every student in your predispo program, in one way or another, their charges are related to a firearm.
Yes.
Okay. And while they're with you, it's in that space between initially catching the charge and the final court disposition, right? So they haven't been adjudicated yet. Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Which is the juvenile terminology for convicted.
Yeah, right.
Like an adult gets convicted, a juvenile is adjudicated.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that time frame vary for each kid, or is it kind of a set time frame?
It can. It's called predisposition. So typically it lasts until the kid is the court comes to their decision, and then whatever the judge decides that's going to happen, that's at the last case or whatever, that's when our time our windows are done for the most part. But we had instances where we've worked with kids past that. If the PO recommends that this kid stays with us, the rapport is good, and we're doing well with them, we're working well with them, then we will continue to work with them. It's not like we're just okay, your case is wrapped up. See you later. Wish you the best of luck.
Sure.
Like there's kids that I still click with now, and our mentors still have relationships after they've finished or moved on to a different program or out of our program. So it's no real timetable. It's set up to where we're offering our services or we're mentoring these kids up until the final gavel is slammed or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it typically works. But it could range from anywhere between the time the case is over or past that.
Would you say generally it's several months at least?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. It's minimum 3 to 4 months, 4 months that we're going to be working with this kid. So
right, okay. So for that call it 3 to 6 months maybe. What does that time look like for a student?
We link up with the kids or the student anywhere between 2 to 3 times a week. That those windows could range from 2 to 3 hours, twice, 3 times a week. That's pretty much when we get them or see them.
Okay. How many students do you normally have in your predispo program at any given time?
Any given time, collectively, we could have anywhere up to like 7 or 8, and then our GVPP program, we have about like 4 to 6 slots open as well.
Okay.
For the kids.
Okay. Wow. And how many students does a mentor work with at a time usually?
About 4. So one, like right now, I have between the 2 programs, I have 4 kids.
Okay.
That I'm currently working with. So yeah.
Okay. That I'm just doing the math in my head. That could add up pretty quick if you're doing 2 or 3 meetings per student for 2 or 3 hours at a time every week, and you have 4 students.
Yeah.
In addition, like you're the program manager, in addition to, I'm sure you have reports to file, maybe like you all go to court with the student?
Yeah, we go to court.
Yeah, court cases.
Yeah. Actually, I got 2 court dates this week as well. So it's pretty busy. It keeps me busy.
I imagine.
And some of the kids are out of school, so it kind of opens up the schedule a little bit. So some of the kids are taking what their alleged charges are in cyber school. So we could sometimes link up during the day, which frees up the schedule a little bit for the other kids that are in school. So after school we get them as well. So
well, I would imagine during the school year that's a lot to mash it all in to 5 weeknights.
Yeah.
And get them all home by bedtime. Yeah. Or get yourself home by bedtime.
Yeah, and then with coaching right around the corner as well. So it gets a little busy.
You're gonna be just burning from both ends.
Hey man, it's the life.
It's like good thing you're not as old as you think you are.
Right. I'm pretty level-headed, so I'm cool.
Yeah. So tell me, I don't know. Tell me about how many kids you have. You said you have 4 spots for the. Is it GVVP?
GVPP, Gun Violence
GV
Prevention Program. Yeah. The
GVPP program. Yeah. You have about 4 slots. Are they generally full?
Yeah. Like it's not mandatory. The GVPP, it's not mandatory. So the kid could get referred. Like you could see a kid and refer him. Let's just say you referred Johnny because you saw he was hanging with the wrong crowd and Johnny was getting into all types of stuff. So the referral hits we get notified about the referral. We contact mom, dad, or whoever the guardian is. We have a sit down. We present them the program. As you know, we have our bodega to kind of offer some incentives because, like I said, it's not mandatory that they come. So we want to talk to the guardians to kind of like let them know this is the program he was referred to. Sometimes guardians could be a little naive of their child behavior or the activities that he's getting into, or her, or she's getting into. But we still present the program. Some are most of the time they are accepting and willing to, give it a shot. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it kind of fizzles out because whether the kid's just not feeling it, he's not he's not mandated to come. So it kind of could go either way, but we offer pretty much good service, so ultimately it's the kid's decision to whether he wants to stay on or not.
Good service. So you are the Chick-fil-A of gun violence prevention programs.
Yeah.
High quality service.
High quality
every time.
Service. Yes.
We can argue about the chicken in another podcast, but
the service.
Always.
Always. My pleasure.
Yeah. That's great. So, I imagine it's a very different perspective working with a student who's mandated to be in your predispo program. Like a judge sat there and told them you have to show up, or I don't know, you're going back to YIC.
And some of them come on with the EM, so it's kind of a electronic monitor. Yeah. So it's a way of, for them, they're like, okay, I get to at least get out because we're getting them right out of YIC. Like we're making that connection either the same day or the next day. It's not just like we're reaching out on like a business level because we're seeing these kids on Mondays as well. We go in every Monday and play basketball with them. They got a nice basketball court. They just put neon or HD lighting in the gym, so the gym lights up. It's pretty. Oh, man. I hate to like glorify the detention center, but it is a decent little mental getaway for an hour that we're in there balling. I'll be crushing them, by the way, and balling. But and then we double back on Tuesday, and we visit them, and they're on like a classroom setting and offer guidance, financial literacy. We're in there teaching them about bonds, stocks, investing, how to run a business, how to start a business, saving, and it's just stuff like that. So we're building that connection with them and that rapport with them. So when they get released, they're not just being released to strangers. Like, you're familiar with us, so you see us. You could.
You already have that connection.
Yeah, that connection. So
they trust you already. You've built a level of rapport.
Yeah. So like I said, we're not just meeting you the first day. Like, hey, how you doing? You're going to be in our program. The judge told you you're going to be with us. So don't act up.
Yeah.
Just walk a straight line. It's not like that.
And just to be clear, that's not part of predispo. Like you going into YIC and dunking on these unfortunate 17-year-olds.
More like a shooter. I'm more of a shooter, but
you're the Steph Curry of the
something like that.
Okay, got it. Something like that. But like that's just something you do, going above and beyond to establish that connection,
right?
Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine that's where you gain a lot of, I don't want to say compliance, but like that's where you get buy-in. Is that like the students know you and like, hey, this guy was in balling with me.
Yeah.
It's not just a random person that the judge said I have to listen to.
Mm-hmm. And we're on the same. Sometimes we're on the same team. Sometimes I'm talking crap against them on the opposing team. Yeah. But it alternates each Monday. So we're building that bond every Monday, and it's something for them to look forward to as well. I try to make the experience as exciting and as I can while we're there. So when you're we're definitely, it's definitely we don't have to do it. We're
Right.
in there doing that,
Right.
on our
That's
own.
above and beyond any contract or grant or anything that
Absolutely.
Benchmark has. That's really cool.
I look forward to it actually. So yeah.
Well, I mean, when you're beating them,
Yeah.
we'll come back and talk about it if they start beating you.
Yeah. I mean, they get their wins here and there,
Yeah.
far few in between, but yeah.
Oh man, if you couldn't tell by looking at me, I never played basketball.
You don't say, nah. You can't dribble or nothing. I'm pretty sure you got a little skill.
No, I'm probably the shortest, whitest guy in there.
You had to have
when
some
I went.
type of sport.
I wrestled.
Wrestle?
But, yeah,
Well,
that didn't
counts for something.
It counts, but because I used to go into YEC years ago, and so when I went in, I pretty much just got rebounds. Like it was the hustle.
There's a role for everybody. And that's
Right.
the beauty of basketball. You could play defense. We
Yep.
got my man Will. He's progressing each week. He's getting better and better. Last week's performance was, I was pretty impressed. But one thing about him, he's always going to hustle. He's always going to be a good teammate. So just like even in our program. But even Whit's out there. He's hustling. When we're on the opposing team, he makes it a point to try to shut me down. He thinks I don't know that. I know.
Yeah.
But when we're on a team, I think we're probably lost like one game. But yeah, it's just a fun time, to connect and be with the students in there. It's definitely a nice experience and something that we got going on that I look forward to every Monday.
That's really cool. So tell me about I don't know, your favorite story or like student that you can think of from your predispo program. Something that really stands out to you.
Favorite story would have there's a couple. One that stands out for me. We had a student that had some serious charges. His charges stem from, I think it was armed robbery. It was 2 armed robberies actually. I think one involved like a older couple and one involved, I forget who it was, but it was 2 separate incidents. And I'm looking at this student as just a kid when I meet him. I'm like, literally looks like an innocent, student. So I was working with him for quite some time. And throughout that whole experience of me working, when we used to go to the Y, play ball, he was real good at basketball. Throughout that whole experience, I didn't see that side of him at all. I mean, but after our time together, during our time together, he was having a baby. Not him, but he was his girlfriend was due to give birth within she was like far along, like 7 months or whatever. So he ended up having a baby girl. Girl is, I think, a little over 1 now. But he was able to get his grades together, finish school. He's now working full time at a pretty good factory. He's taking care of his daughter. He's taking care of his family, and those are baby steps, to success. And I'm just proud of that. People measure their success in different ways, but as a 16, 17-year-old where people wrote you off for the things you have already done and the progress that you're making now, it's a great thing to get your life together and provide for your family. That says a lot about his true character and who he is. He just recently reached out to me, and because there was an opportunity for him to speak at one of our speaking events, and he just went off subject and was like, "Yo, I wanted to just thank you for the opportunity. You did a lot for me," and I appreciate everything you did for me. That's why I'm here now. And so that text like made me feel real good. I don't even, like I said, I don't even look at it as a job. I was just doing what I was doing naturally, like linking up with them, working with them, and just being there for them. Sometimes you just got to be present for these students. Sometimes they don't even have that. It could just be the littlest of things. Sometimes they might want to vent, So I would say that story stands out the most to me because he has a beautiful little baby girl. And just to see him take that responsibility role to being a present father and providing, that says a lot about a young man's character. So I would say that was probably the best story that stands out.
Yeah. Wow. With those charges, was he charged as an adult at all?
No, I think they kept it because I was showing up to court for him and, vouching for him that he's been, like, it's one thing. Like, I'm not going to go up in front of a judge and give him some BS if the kid's not, I wouldn't say compliant, but doing what he's supposed to be doing on the right path. Yeah, and he was going above and beyond that. We didn't even miss any meetings. Some kids say they're sick, whether they're sick or not. When it's time to meet up, they might flake on you a day here or there, and he wasn't doing that. He was ready to go. Sometimes he's calling me like, "Yo, you on your way?" And stuff like that. So we kind of formed that bond where we was pretty cool. But he wasn't. I don't think he was charged as an adult. I think he ultimately got time served in probation stemming from that case. But yeah, right now says that life is behind him, and he's thriving now.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
What about, same question, but for the GVPP program, any particular students or incidents stand out to you?
GVPP, let me see. We have a kid that was referred to us. He was, I think his alleged charges was stealing cars or something like that. I worked
like
with
a joyride, or like, I'm gonna strip this for parts.
Oh, like just joyriding.
Yeah.
These kids got these. I guess Kias are real easy to get into. I wouldn't know anything about that, but that's what he was doing. He was able to get a job, and hopefully he leave that life behind him as well. So that was kind of a story that stood out as well. Our GVPP roster hasn't been that full. We're looking for referrals, so if you know of any kids that could benefit from our program, definitely refer them to our program, and we will be more than willing to work with them. So, like I said, it's not mandated that they do come. It's not mandatory. So,
I mean, if your mom is referring you,
so and it's a 18-month program.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's, what is that, a year and a half?
Yeah.
So we just started probably roughly over a year. So those results haven't come full circle yet, because if you was enrolled on day one, you would still be in the program. Up until this point.
So he's not even, this particular student isn't even out of the program yet, and he's already gained employment and
he's and is great, straight A student at the moment. Yes.
Wow.
And he's due to not graduate because he's in ninth grade, but he's due to pass. Yeah. Go to the next grade level.
So someone, sorry, go ahead.
No, so he's doing well. He's thriving, but I can't really. I could just say he's thriving because he's not fully out of the program and on to whatever he's going to be going on to. But he's heading in the right direction. Great kid. And honestly, all of the students that I have worked with, you could see that in them. Like, they're not just catching these charges because they're just bad individuals. I think my job is to, like, how did we get here? Opposed to, like, I'm not going to say, do this, do that. I'm going to give you those options, like, well, how did we get here? How do you think this is going to work out doing this your way and this way, opposed to doing it this way and this way, which is considered or could be considered the right way to do things. And I'll leave that choice up to you. But taking the mom and dad approach, or the parenting approach, I should say, like, you need to be doing this or you need to be doing that. Like, who am I to tell 15, 16, 17-year-old what to do? I could guide you and show you, I like that old saying, you could take the horse to the water, but you can't
make him drink.
Make him drink,
Yeah.
Like, there goes my age kicking in again. But, yeah, so it's kind of like that. We want to take that approach to giving you those options, or letting you see those options, opposed to, like, telling you what to do. Because most of the time when you're told what to do as a student or a kid, young teenager, you're probably going to either do the opposite or tightrope that line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So if someone has a kid in mind that they want to refer to the GVPP program, who do they call, or how do they do that?
We have, you can either go on the website, you can reach out to us through phone call, or come down here, hand it in. We got flyers, or just contact Whit or myself. I think there's some paperwork as well, but I think it's online now.
Yeah,
pretty sure it's online.
Yeah,
you get the referrals in.
Well, both you and Whit are on our website, so people can at least Google it and benchmarkprogram.org.
There you go.
Figure it out.
Yeah,
okay.
So
and just to be clear, even though it is the gun violence prevention program, you don't have to be actively involved with firearms.
Yeah, our whole purpose is to prevent you from going further down in the judicial system. That's our whole purpose. They see you, the referral person sees you headed down that wrong path. We're trying to halt that. Listen, you was referred to us because of these things, and we go from there. But we're trying to prevent them from potentially, that's why it's called Gun Violence Prevention Program, from getting those firearm charges. Right. We don't want to see you in the predisposition program.
That is a really cool thing, I guess, about being part of the Benchmark ecosystem, is that no matter where you are mentally or even geographically, whether you're in YIC or at your house or in school or whatever, there's a connection point to Benchmark.
Right.
You can go from GVPP to Open Gym. You could, if things don't work out, you could go from there to Predispo. You could go from Predispo to the SBSB program.
Right. That's usually how the transition works from Predispo to SBSB.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's really cool. People, because even if kids aren't working directly with you anymore, they're still part of Benchmark and connected to you.
Right. And we kind of help with that transition. Obviously, all our staff are cool with each other, so that transition could be a little easier. Hey, this is our kid. I might even sit in on an SBSB lesson or something, just to kind of like that, because you're going from a one-on-one mentorship to a group setting. Right. In that particular instance.
Why are your two programs set up to be one-on-one mentoring as opposed to group mentoring? Like SBSB, those students are in a group the whole time. Your students are paired up one-on-one.
If I could make a class comparison, like a classroom setting, like say you're in a classroom of 25 kids at school, and that one kid back there just acting up. He's just not grasping, whether it be behavior or he's just not grasping. He just needs that one-on-one time to learn the lesson a little better, or learn the lesson, or comprehend what the teacher is saying.
Sure.
So that's how it is kind of with the referral coming in for predispo. This is a high-risk kid considered. So I think upon release, he's getting released from serving, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months in detention. He might not connect in a group-based setting because now he might not be vocal in that group-based setting. He might shut down. He might even have beef with somebody in that group setting.
Yeah.
So I think it's being that they're considered high risk. I think it's just a safer program to be in because you're getting that one-on-one mentorship. You could connect, you can ask questions, you can open up, and we're building that rapport, like I said, on Mondays and Tuesdays anyway, by getting to know this kid. So upon release, he gets to work with us one-on-one and could benefit from all the resources that we're helping him out with. We help out with resumes, job applications, even college tours, and just wisdom and just experiences that we've been through. I'm from the city as well, so like I said, I identify with these kids, whether I see myself in them or I see guys that I grew up with that's in them. So it's really beneficial on a one-on-one basis opposed to a group setting initially upon their release. I think it works out better.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you mentioned college tours. What I imagine you're not like grabbing these kids and going out for ice cream every time you meet. What outside of a college tour? Yeah. What are some examples of things you do with your students?
Well, I mentioned that a lot of these kids like to work out or they like basketball or sports. So one of the kids, like I mentioned, just like basketball a whole lot. So we might go to the Y, get actively like some physical activities to just unwind. That was his stress reliever, playing basketball and working out. One kid liked cars, so we take him to a car detail shop, see how that operates, stuff like that. If we're going out job hunting, we might go to this place, talk to the manager, go to this place, talk to a manager, see if we could get them a job. So that I want to teach them to, like, your physical appearance matters. Like, you want to come and be seen. Like, you just it's different between putting in an application, they don't see you, and it's different opposed to coming in person, putting in an application, introducing yourself. Obviously a manager could sit back and see you are either determined, they could see that you're here presently and they want to work with you. So stuff like that. It's pretty much up to them. During the intake, we ask them what they want to do or what their ambitions are, or even if they even have any career goals at that stage in their life. We're trying to help them navigate through that or trying to get that out of them. So whatever they're into, like, we can introduce it to them, but if they have no interest in it, then what's the point? So we kind of want, during that intake, we want to get to know them a little bit so that when it's time to link up, we could dive into those things that you want to do or provide those resources, whether it be a mechanic or, engineer of some sort, whatever. But we're willing to accommodate anything that you want to pursue.
Or maybe I put it like this, are there any recurring conversations or themes that you've noticed with the students that you've worked with? Like anything particular that you just have had to go over multiple times with students, or, you go over it at least once with every student? Any specific theme or anything that trips these kids up?
Influence. Just being a leader, I always teach leadership because at their age, it's easy to get caught up in the bad influential things. So whether it be choosing better friends or surrounding yourself around better people, I guess you could say. And that all starts with leadership. If you're a great leader, you're not going to follow the crowd because this is what they're doing. But I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to just empower you to be a better leader so that when it comes time to make these decisions, you're able to stand on your own 2 feet and make these decisions based on what you feel as though is right and not being a leader. So I always, I don't want to say preach, but kind of like teach leadership and surrounding yourself with good people, because conspiracy could take you down the wrong road too. Like we have a kid, or 2 kids that caught these alleged charges due to being around the wrong crowd, in a car full of their friends, and there's a firearm in the car. Nobody's a snitch nowadays. Well, I wouldn't say nobody, but nobody wants to snitch or say whose gun it is. You all get charged. That could have been prevented had you been a better leader, or had you took your leadership skills and just removed yourself from that situation, period, and not follow that crowd to catch these charges. So that's a big thing. Just, making your own decisions.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. The only thing you can control really in this world is yourself.
Exactly.
You can't control whether someone else is putting a firearm in the vehicle. Can't control what they say or don't say. All you can control is what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anything else for the good of the order? Any shout outs, any words of wisdom, anything Coach Kev wants to leave us with?
Put me on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. The time flew. Time flew faster than I expected. You are doing a good job in here. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Shout out to my man Will and Benchmark program. Shout out to Whit.
Yeah.
Shout out to my predisposition team, my GVPP team, and the whole organization as a whole.
Yeah.
And
we heard the man. Shout outs. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. I feel so basic saying that. I don't even know what it means, but just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. We got to get voices like this out on the interwebs. So thank you. Thank you all for sticking with us. Thank you for your time, Kev. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.